Maresa Friedman's here, and one of my favorite human beings on the planet. Put your hands together for Maresa, everybody. All right, yes, you're going to love this lady. Now, we just talked to Susie, and she is a no BS queen, but you take that to another level. Because I love you, and I'm going to say this in the kindest way I can, but you know how to separate emotion from focus from business, right?
Yeah, I think it's probably the autism, but yeah. I think it's, I like to say I'm a shot of espresso, no milk, no sugar. That's the best way. It doesn't serve me to be unkind, but also like how much faster would we go if we could detach from the emotional attachment to whatever we're building.
Absolutely phenomenal. And by the way, hold this really up here. And you've been speaking all around and doing Google Talks, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about Google.
So for 4 years, I was the brand speaker for Google. So I taught audiences of like 10,000 to 20,000 how to market their businesses online. So the whole goal of that is narrative. And I think every company, not even Google, everyone in this room has a narrative. And I always kind of say, what are you telling Google about you? So here's the challenge to everyone in the room. Google yourself, and are you there and do you like what you see, right? Or is there like a murderer with your name, right? Or like understand what's out there. And all the stuff that we do on social media is geared to tell Google who we are and what we do. And most of the time, I hear this, and I've heard this today, well, you know, I'm not this and I'm not that, and those people aren't as good as me. And I'm like, cool, but you're not there. Right. So you can either whine that you're not getting the business, or you can figure out, how do I show up? How do I do all this content stuff? Instead of resisting, lean in. And I think a lot of people are just like experts, but they're secret weapons and nobody knows who they are. Yeah. And if no one knows who you are, then they sure as hell aren't going to be able to hire you.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? So
no cream, no sugar, right? It gets down to the nitty gritty. And also, one of the things that you taught me recently is, look, every time we post on, Instagram or Facebook, what we're doing is we're really building the algorithms for Facebook and Instagram. However, if we do the same video and put it on to a YouTube short or a YouTube video, it lives on infamy. And when you Google, since Google owns YouTube, you automatically get pulled up into the search engines. So just as you're taking your time to do those videos and posting them on there, make sure that you start posting them up on YouTube, so that way it will live out there and people can find you forever.
And I mean, the biggest tool, you know, I'm a tool girl, so I'm going to give some tactics, right? There's a tool called Get Munch. So if you decide one day you just want to talk and you don't even know what you're talking about, you just record something on YouTube, okay? And you just state of the industry, whatever, your background. You put that video into Munch. It's going to look at it and grade it for its coherence. And it's going to go through the whole 20-minute video or however long you go. It's going to say, here's the part where you were most coherent. Here's the part where people are actually searching for this thing that you were talking about. Oh, and by the way, here's the caption and the hashtags for each of the platforms that you want to post on. So what that does is, it's anyone in here that's saying, well, I can't do content because I need a videographer, that tool will also do the captions for you, those like cool super captions that you see on Reels. It'll also repurpose it for you across all the platforms. So there's no excuse. Like everyone in here, if you are a business owner, founder, or trying to raise money or whatever it is you do, you cannot afford to not have content online. Yeah. And I mean, how many nerds do we have in the room who don't like being on camera? Raise your hand proudly. Okay, cool. You're admitting it. It doesn't matter. You still have to do it. Yeah. Like, be seen or be lost.
Right. So we were talking backstage, and you were mentioning something about how as we up level each time. And we have kids, and we've been in business for a while, and we were just saying how it progresses with that. Yeah. And what has your daughter taught you about updating your stuff and keeping current with that?
So like, how many people in this room want to go viral, or have thought like, oh, I'm going to go viral, that's my strategy? Okay, so first of all, let me tell you, I went viral. If you Google me, it's pretty funny, for not moving my seat on an airplane. Oh. Now, what you learn about going viral is all these people that are coming to yell at you don't want anything to do with your product or service. So the effery, right? The things that you have to do when you go viral for the wrong thing is you have to think really quickly about, what am I going to do with these eyeballs, right? Going viral is not a strategy, but what you have to understand is there's a whole generation of people that were not born in the 1900s. Okay, how many people here were not born in the 1900s? Any 2000s babies? There's a couple in the back, right? Couple. So what we have to understand is our younger generation thinks in 90-second increments. So 90-second increments, and you have 3 seconds to capture someone's attention. So when you're doing content, people make this huge mistake of starting with the introduction. No one cares about you. And I can tell you this, I work with Microsoft, I work with Meta, I work with all these big companies, and then I go work with entrepreneurs, and they want to throw up their story. Your story is totally irrelevant. It's not solving someone's problem. So the first thing you need to think about when you're making content or when you're going online, and this is my daughter and I, we do this together, where do your customers eat? Where do they sleep? Where do they shop? And you could say, oh, but they're eco-conscious. And it's like, okay, do they drive a Prius? Do they drive a Tesla? Do they drive a Rivian? Those are all conscious price points, right? But they're different, right? But my daughter and I will go through a store and we'll look at what's in the store. What's the branding of the store? So if I ask you, what is your company if it was a retailer? Think about that. Are you Nordstrom? Are you Walmart? Yeah. Are you the Dollar Tree? Yeah. And then go into that space and observe people in the wild.
Yeah,
okay. I've never heard you say this before. So
it's
what
no
you're
longer
saying,
the elevator pitch, the 3-minute one. It's
right?
the 3-second one.
So what you're saying is that if your brand was you're going after mass market and it's called the Walmart audience, then go to Walmart and see what Walmart people do.
See what Walmart people do and pay exceptional attention to end aisle displays. That's part of the business is getting products, right? Like I get products into stores. And we can have the same product in a dollar store, in a Walmart, in a Target, in an Amazon, in a Lululemon. Same product, by the way.
Wow.
But pay attention to the marketing. People are speaking sometimes in really high-level language. Drop it down to 6th grade. That's how you use ChatGPT, by the way. Most people are doing this copy that's like this really high-level crap that no one understands. So if you can't explain it to a teenager, and this is where I use my teenagers, if they can't understand it, then you got to rewrite it. This is what makes really smart people upset because they're writing at this college level, like whatever the hell. And it's like, you got to write for 6th grade. Newspapers are at 6th grade level. The news is at 6th grade level. Most content is at 6th grade level. Emojis work really well. Why? The brain recognizes pictures and video better than words. It value tags. So 80% retention with video and images. So what does that mean? That means video and images should be part of your strategy. Right?
It makes sense. Hey, do me a favor. Up in the booth, Josh, if you're up there, would you do me a favor and show some of the images of some of the media I've been doing lately? Because I want to educate people kind of how the media works, okay? It's going to be really simple, but you're going to like it. The media is almost the same equivalent as like a credit score. So if you have a 500 credit score, is it hard to purchase a car? Yes. If you have an 800 credit score, is it easier to buy a car? Yes. It's the same thing when you do media. What happens is that if you go ahead and get listed on a blog, that type of media that goes in the search engine would be like a 500 credit score. If you get in something like Medium or something of that nature, Disrupt, that'd be like a 650 credit score. But if you get in something like E-News or you get on Forbes, Inc., all of a sudden that's a 750 to an 800 credit score. 100%. And the reason why this is important, if they hyperlink your website to their article and then you put it on your website and hyperlink back out, that gives you the highest possible credit rating when it comes down to media so people can find you and searchable.
Yeah, and I mean, here's a tip for everybody. So media is like we're all going to a club, right? Does anybody ever gone to a club where there's a line around the building? Yes. Right? So everybody knows, right? If you know the bouncer, are you waiting in line? No. Then when you're inside, right, you got to know the bartender, right? But it's better to know who? The owner, right, with the booth. So if we look at media that way, do I have permission to share a tip with everybody? Okay, so I'm going to share this. It's really simple. It's going to take you longer, but I promise it'll work if you just keep trying. There's a website called Help a Reporter Out. Haro, okay? What that website does, you register and you say a source. Now, this will make you lose your belief in all journalism, by the way, okay? So what happens is a reporter is on deadline. They need a quote. Most people, when they go on Haro, they're only answering questions about their business. Answer any question about anything you feel qualified to answer. It doesn't matter if it's related to your business. So I got in Fast Company, I got in Glamour, I've been in the New York Times from answering reporters, and I paid $0. Now know that it takes a long time, and here's the best practice in learning for you. You're gonna have to learn how to introduce yourself in one sentence, because a reporter does not have time to read your life story. For all of you, and I've met some of you, you guys are lovely. Learn how to articulate who you are and what you do quickly.
And by the way, that's why our header, if you ever go on Google Secret Knock, is the greatest event you cannot attend. That little hook right there changed everything for us. Our entire industry and brand was built on that one simple catchphrase that came up one time and changed everything. We got to wrap up, but go ahead. Quick question.
Yeah.
What's your what?
What's your one sentence?
What's your one sentence?
I bring executives and entrepreneurs from confusion to clarity.
You used to be called the professional cat herder.
I am an executive cat herder, but some people don't know what that means, so they thought I worked with actual cats. But I just boss dudes around all day. That's my job. Mean mommy.
There you go. Maresa Friedman, put your hands together. Yay!